How do you build the world over when it's so broken? Because one of the children of Earth refuses to recognize their part that they played. They lie to all of the children that should be in charge, that now no longer know that they're in charge. And then they group together. Like I said, I am a 1 and a 0. I suppose you do an iota and a sigma, but the sigma usually has a directional. So, delta, yeah. If you do a delta, but the egg, EGG, the egg, the circle egg for the sigma, for the sigma woman. If you do that, and then you put an iota in the middle, Roman numeral 1, in the center of the egg. That is the Adam and the Eve. That is the man and the woman. That is the God symbol, the man and the woman. So the woman of the future was Antonine. He was Holy Roman Catholic. He was a Octavius, in the time of Octavius, for the Caesar being the pagan emperor for the Holy Catholics in the Holy Roman Empire. Yes, he was born October, which is 1 and a 0, as a god symbol. And I believe he was either born in 1911. I believe he was born in 1911 because he was bringing in the god woman in the future. He himself was going to have just a regular, fruitless, non-god seed, which is Louis. Louis is not a god. Antonine was a god. Michael Hewson is a god. Niklaus is a god. The gentleman that you presented as a Leif Erikson, he was a god. That is it. That is all I can remember that I've met as god men. Louis is a 1. He is just a colorless fruit that has the electron transport system of a male, should Zodiac need it for the God program, for life, for building future, and for building humanity. Anything else that is not breeding material for the God of the world, the ones with the 0, so the 1 and 0, that is the God symbol system, because they are the ones that need to breed as a alpha and an omega to combine to make more cosmic children on the face of the earth. So that is why they are simultaneously a 1 and a 0. All of them, whether they are male or female, it is the iota inside of an eggshell. So that is what Nicoletta Cattaruzza, for Antonine Cattaruzza. I was born 1978 to his 1911. We skipped in the middle because we had problems with Mongoloids. That is Louis. He was born the year of the rat, and the rat infestation in the Chinese, Korean, and multiple facial deformities that are all 0s. They're not even 1s. A 0 means you're not breeding material for a god. That is all. It just means you are human, or you are in our place we call you a thing. We call you a thing because I don't have another word for it. English is not your language. When you didn't know English and I said you are a thing, you said, okay, I'm a thing. That's it. There was no meaning attached to it. It's what it is. The TH actually stands for Planck's constant, and then in, G is for God. So thing is, you're just a constant in a time, or but you have to be in anti-gravity. You are nothing. They say they have been in the anti-gravity program, which is very disturbing for myself and for everybody involved. They get in, they like jump in like a moon bouncy house. They're like, yeah, they like jump in. And then it goes dark. It's just black. And they're like, oh, I'm clocked. No, stupid. You are a nothing. You are a zero. You will never be more than a zero and a nothing. You are not a god. You are not cosmic. You are whatever your parents created in a moment of whatever things do. That's it. I don't know why these words upset you. It's the truth. It's not racist because there's a lot of zeros. It is your placement in the world. The gods need a 1 and a 0. That's the breeding program. Those are the gods and the leaders of the world in relation to one another. They have special characteristics and features. Then there are ones like Lewis that are potential leaders that could help out the god pagan kingdom of Rome, as in this Julius Caesar and Caesar, but then they have been Lewis has been misprogrammed completely, but that's due to all the zeros taking the place of all the ones. There is a problem in life programming. We warned you about this several generations ago. The fact that I had to come out of my godly status and walk through time and space through the anti-gravity program, because that's what I'm able to do. I still exist in anti-gravity. I will never go away. The zeros, they don't exist. There is a factory, we call them catalog children, that I'm able to walk and I'm able to point out and say, that's the one that I met. It's like a lineup to ensure that we have the correct character that's alive, but it's only in relation to when I'm alive. When I have a placement on an ongoing set, in an ongoing direction, in an ongoing direct. If there was no gods and no star seeds on the planet, there would be no anti-gravity, or there would be anti-gravity, but it wouldn't be what you think. You, in your zeros, would be absolutely nothing. You would no longer exist. And that's where we're at. We are ready to delete your entire catalog of things, because you have placed your zeros in the real world when you're not in a digital platform, when you are in your anatomical, what you have done with your study of lambda, sigma, and all sorts of things that you travel the world to seek out like treasure hunters. And then you have a secret mission that you hide in your China and Polynesia closet to then use the ones and the gods as subjects for your pleasure as zeros. So anything black, anything caramel, anything facially disfigured and white, they have been treasure hunting for several generations on linguistics and symbols in order to then get themselves in a worldly place amongst your anatomicals in your 0 and 1 status and your 1 status like Lewis. And they have been buying equipment and placement in the world in order to topsy-turvy and make the gods the subjects of the zeros. That's what's going on at the moment. You have blacks, caramels, and facially disfigured white all grouping together as a zero. This is how the world ends, because the 1 zeros, they still exist in anti-gravity. Your zero-ness will never exist in space-time reality of things. It doesn't exist now, it will never exist. You only exist in relation to when my anatomical is present in a set directive, in a set subject matter. So when you jump into it and you think that your, you call it a holograph, is all of, which is your actual anatomical, when you see that just disappear and dissipate into nothing, you think it's cloaked. No, it's not. What it is it no longer exists, because you are here for a one-time hose job. You are the children of the earth that need to work with the gods. But the gods have the ultimate say. We have to tell you what we need because we will be here in the future, as will the earth. The earth is immortal. The earth will be here. The earth's dying currently. That's because that's your sign and symbol in your cognitive that you have management all wrong. You have put the children that are zeros above the importance of gods. You've broken the gods, their transport cosmology system, being the life on this earth for one reason or another, that things do things that they do. And now the earth, the fish are dying. The water is getting polluted and scummy. It's not turbining properly in the centrifuge. The star alignment is not working well either. Some days I get very blue in the mouth because the science, it's hypoxic between all the air and things and the climates that in the atmosphere that you have, because you keep teaching the black, the caramel, and the facially disfigured, squinty eye people high science, engineering, technology, and communications, and what they are doing with all of that knowledge since you started teaching them is they've been reprogramming over the gods, making us not know things and hurting us, programming us with cancer. They've also been messing with the electron transport anomaly that is our congruency and our godly right as star beings. These things are not star beings. They're just not. They're not entitled to know symbols, language of any kind if they're going to have machines. I don't know why you keep growing this world more dangerous. You keep saying it's racist. No, it's not. It's the gods telling you it's safety equipment. You now have Americans giving blood to the enemy. The enemy is here. I have Dr. Patels that were farmers in Provincial around the Indian territory. They call it, it looks like a tit of a cow in the South Asia Minor. That landmass. They are now here as engineers and doctors, taking the blood of the ones like Lewis and myself, sending it to a database in a lab, and then they have engineers on computers who are now fine-tuning the proteins and the capsids inside the blood because you've given them labs. You've given them doctor coats, you've given them educations, you've given them lab coats, you've invited them on your land to kill all the white people. But once all the white people are gone, it closes. In fact, actually, I'm the last one. I'm the one that comes with Alexander the Great. I said this in Warsaw and in Geneva during my WARHORSE correspondence when I had to meet and fight on behalf of Antonine, who's walking around in his set. It's his life, and I'm in the future, and I'm to bring Alexander into the future. I said to you, listen, I said, the science is already broken. The history is not what you think the history is. The words don't mean what you think the words mean. I know why. But now you're not believing me. So I don't know what to tell you. The kingdom of God has always been the Holy Roman Empire. We have always been pagan. It's always been, now it's an occult system because it's Nicole and Nicoles. It is, we said the Torah is the symbol of the eight. It's infinity, life, everlasting from antigravity. That's where you get the TORAH, because the Italian was like, the Torah. And I'm like, yes, see, the Torah. Yes, that's the Jewish. That's more symbols that are ours. Together, collectively, as the seeds, as the tribes of the seeds. So why are the tribes of the seeds worried about the land mass more than they're worried about keeping their education system and taking down the children that are hurting the star people? Because it used to be that they knew not to hurt the star people. I get their heads have been reprogrammed, but that's what death is for. They go into their catalog, we delete it, and then they procreate more, and we teach the new generation better than the last, because the last was totally useless and dangerous. So where did we lose you in fixing the world between 1911 or 1910 and 1978? So I didn't wake up to a misprogrammed Lewis electron transporter, my goddess status, and then they rip my I-code off and disconnect my science completely. In my set. This is my set. So, I mean, my set can change. That's actually what I've been asking for. I said, if this is what happens and they hurt me, for sure. I said, I want the entire catalog deleted. Just program me a new set and let me walk through the hole. And I'll bring out, Alexander and all the other gods will just be sucked right into it. And everything that needs to be deleted, like Lewis and whatever, just goes. Why are we not doing that?